guys, it's Tim, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited. I want to say thank you to everybody who is here live in the chat, and let's get going. It's Friday, February 10th, 2017. If you would like to help donate to the show, please hit that super chat button in the chat down below to give us some donations if you'd like. If you don't, then hey, I understand. But also, if you'd like to help out Pro Wrestling Unlimited, you can visit our TeePublic store where we have our t-shirts, and it's not just t-shirts. There's coffee mugs, there's notebooks, there's cell phone cases, and for the next 12 hours, if you visit our TeePublic store and use the promo code COOLCAT25, you will get 25% off your entire order. But remember, the COOLCAT25 promo code is only good for the next 12 hours. Also, I want to say, if my voice doesn't sound perfect right now, it's because I've been sick, getting over a cold. It hasn't been a good week here in our household, as I was sick, my wife's sick, my daughter's sick, my son's sick. Everybody just caught that flu, and hey, it's going around. But enough with that. Let's talk wrestling. So this Sunday is the Elimination Chamber. Let's run down the card for you, and I'm going to tell you who the odds makers have right now who they feel is coming out victorious. So we have Nikki Bella versus Natalia, and it's kind of obvious Nikki Bella's going to win that. The odds makers have Nikki as the favorite at a 4-11. We then have Mickie James versus Becky Lynch, where Mickie James, this is a little bit of a surprise, but Mickie is actually favored to go over Becky Lynch. Mickie favored at an 8-13 odds. We then have the handicap match, where it will be Apollo Crews and Kalisto taking on Dolph Ziggler, and Dolph Ziggler is actually favored at an 11-1 to go over the other two. We then have Randy Orton and Luke Harper, which I feel could be a good match. We've seen it on SmackDown recently, but hey, we're getting it again, and I think it could be good. Randy Orton is favored at about 2-7. We then have the SmackDown Live Women's Championship match, where Alexa Bliss will be defending her championship against Naomi, and Bliss is favored at a 1-3. Next up, we've got the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship match. It is a tag team turmoil match, and American Alpha is favored to go over in that match. Let me see what their odds are. For some reason, it's not showing here in my notes. Alright. American Alpha is favored to go over, and they are favored at... Oh, I am losing my mind here. American Alpha is favored. Why is American Alpha not showing up anywhere? Well, they're the favorites to win. And then we have Bray Wyatt is favored to win the Elimination Chamber match, and it's what we've been telling you. Bray Wyatt is favored at a 1-10 to go over in that match and then defend his title against Randy Orton. But let's see if you guys are talking about the Elimination Chamber here in the chat. A lot of people are asking about Curt Hawkins, and there's really no news on Curt Hawkins. He's sometimes used, and he's really only used in dark matches at the SmackDown tapings, which is very odd. Why would you sign the guy and bring him in just to use him in dark matches? I know this past Tuesday at SmackDown he did a quick little match where he lost to, I want to say, Mojo Rawley before SmackDown even started, but let's see who's in the chat here today. MBTX Mad, hope you all feel better. Thank you. I hope we get better too. Vision, how's it going? IG88, Nick the First, Funky Chicken 20. Funky Chicken 20 has a good question. He says, is there any news about the new Elimination Chamber structure? And there's not. All they keep saying is that it's a quote-unquote all new Elimination Chamber. But what's really new about it, we don't know. They're keeping that really, really hush hush. I don't know exactly what the difference can be. I mean, maybe it's taller. Maybe I don't think it can be wider because if it's any wider, then it's not going to fit at rings. Like when you look at the elimination chamber now, they set it over the ring, and it pretty much takes up the entire space at ringside. Like there's barely enough room for the announce desk. So I don't think the chamber's wider. Could be taller. Now the reason they haven't been doing the elimination chamber in a while is because they've been going to a lot of arenas and venues where they have the big scoreboard. And if the big scoreboard is up there, then they can't hang the chamber. So it's becoming tough for them to find venues and stuff that's going to, I guess, accommodate the 10-ton elimination chamber because not only is it big and it's got to hang from the ceiling, but it weighs a lot. And I know there's a couple places that WWE looked at for this show in particular this weekend that they were told, you know what, if you're going to hang that chamber up there, it's not going to work out. It's just not going to be a good idea. So finally, they ended up finding the arena in Phoenix, and that's where they're going. But yeah, IG88 keeps asking about Kurt Hawkins. There's no plans for Kurt Hawkins. Like, he's brought in to lose. It's the same thing with Jinder Mahal. Yeah, he's got somewhat of a story as far as he's now linked up with Rusev, but Jinder Mahal's doing nothing. He's the guy that can just go out there and lose. So, METX now says maybe it's the change of the new stage. No, it's not a stage. It's what they're saying. Like they've said it on Raw, they've said it on SmackDown. They're unveiling, quote unquote, a new Elimination Chamber. Like the chamber itself's going to be new. And one thing I could possibly see because WWE's in love with this right now, LED lights or some sort of LED screens on the pods. Like maybe we got, because you know how when they do the Elimination Chamber match and then they're counting down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and you see the coyote cam, the Wily Coyote cam from above, and the lights are like going around. Who's coming out next? Who's coming out next? Well, I can see the tops of each chamber of the four having like an LED screen on it, and they start flashing with the different wrestlers' logo, and then boom, whoever's logo pops up on the top of their screen or on top of their chamber. I mean, that's who's coming in next. That's one thing I can see. I've also heard that they're using a different kind of chain, but I don't know about that. So it's gonna be interesting to see what quote unquote. I keep saying quote unquote because we don't even know if it's really gonna be this, but new changes they make. Because there can be things that they say are new changes that either people aren't gonna even recognize, or people are just gonna be like, "That's pretty much the same. You're just wording how you say it different." Or there can be something in the match that they've done before, but they're saying they haven't. I don't know. It's very interesting and very mind perplexing, I guess, why they keep saying new Elimination Chamber, but they won't tell us what's so new about it. Because hey, my opinion, it's got to be nothing big, or they would tell us now, so that way they can draw more fans to the show. Because if they say, "Oh, we have this big new idea for the Elimination Chamber," tell us early, so then people are gonna want to see it. But with that, we just keep saying new Elimination Chamber. No one really believes there's gonna be anything new and different and exciting. So, ha! Cole Crofter says the chamber probably just painted blue. Oh my god. They're in love with that stuff too. Raw stuff has to be red. SmackDown stuff has to be blue. Whew. Alright. Now, Fastlane. Fastlane is going to be a very interesting show. We do know that there are two matches so far. Three matches, I take that back. Three matches already announced for the Fastlane pay per view. We have Neville defending his Cruiserweight Championship against the gentleman Jack Gallagher, because everybody needs a nickname now. We have Braun Strowman taking on Roman Reigns. And in the main event for Fastlane, Goldberg is challenging for the Universal Championship. That's just, I know why they're doing it. I understand why they want to do it. Vince McMahon wants to build the entire WrestleMania 33 around Goldberg and Brock Lesnar. Yeah, we saw this at Survivor Series. Yeah, they had a tussle in the Royal Rumble. But he feels like he can use Goldberg and Brock Lesnar and their name, like their star power, to sell tickets, to get people interested in WrestleMania. And what happened when they came up with the idea of putting the title on Goldberg? Vince had a meeting and he pretty much said, "How can we make this match more exciting? How can we put more emphasis on this match? How can we make Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar more important?" And then they came up with the idea of put the title on the line. So then they had to think of, well, how do you put the title on the line? Do you put it on Brock or do you put it on Goldberg? And the plan, the idea was you put it on Goldberg. That way Goldberg gets a one more run with the championship like he's been saying. And then Brock Lesnar can walk out champ. Goldberg, as of today, last I heard, I guess, last I was told was Monday, Goldberg has not signed for anything past WrestleMania. So it's almost a lock that Goldberg's going to lose at WrestleMania to Brock Lesnar. Then Brock Lesnar will hold the title for a little while, and I'm hearing he could lose it at SummerSlam, but don't quote me on that. Not just yet, because we don't know. Things can change leading up to SummerSlam, and Brock holds the title even longer. But the plan right now is for Brock to win at Mania, and then hold the title to SummerSlam. You guys are still talking about that Elimination Chamber. MBT X-Mount says, how to make the match better, no holds barred. Or are you talking about Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar? Never mind. That's Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar. I know people have been saying for that Elimination Chamber, though, to make it weapons. I don't know. Anyways, let's see. What are you guys saying in the chat? Why is Goldberg in a title match? He is a damn part-timer. Like I said, they wanted to put more of an importance on the match at WrestleMania, and they feel like Kevin Owens right now, if he does lose to Bill Goldberg, it wouldn't hurt him too much. So, all right. I don't see Goldberg. Nick First says, I don't see it. Goldberg is a part-timer. Stop giving him a championship. Cole Crofter says, KO needs to carry the title into Mania. It's pathetic giving the title to Goldberg, Brock, etc. Randy Jr. says, so Reigns champ at SummerSlam then? That's what I've heard. That the plan right now is you make Roman look good leading into SummerSlam. You say, oh, I beat the big men. I beat these unstoppable guys like Braun Strowman, like The Undertaker. And then he goes into SummerSlam and defeats Brock Lesnar. Because, think about it, they've never had that clean one-on-one Brock Lesnar-Roman Reigns match. Vince knows it. Vince wants it. And Vince thinks clean, with no interference, no gimmicks, no nothing, just a title on the line. Brock, Roman, Vince feels that can be a money match. I don't know if it is. I mean, it did well for WrestleMania 31. We know how that ended. Neither guy left the champ. But anyways, let's talk Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is currently out with a minor torn MCL. And from everything that people are saying is they think he's good for Mania. At least leading up to Fastlane, they're going to be very hesitant on what they say as far as Seth Rollins and his, I guess, prognosis. If you saw last week on Raw, they were very hesitant to say anything about the injury. They really just said, Rollins' involvement in WrestleMania is seriously in doubt. Doctors are saying MCL tear, but they didn't say anything else. From my thinking of it, and this is the way I was told as well, you don't say much. You maybe come out every week and say, it's looking better for Seth Rollins. We've got an update from the doctor. Doctor's saying that Seth is progressing well. And then you go from there. And then eventually, maybe after Fastlane, when okay, when's Fastlane? beginning of March. So you got 3 weeks after. So you say, okay, there's 3 weeks left till WrestleMania. Seth's progressing well. Seth should be cleared. Seth should be good for the match. Then you can start building. Okay, Seth's fine. Seth's good. Seth's coming back. But you don't want to say too early that Seth Rollins is going to be okay, just in case something does happen. So right now they're going to keep it very vague on Seth Rollins and his injury as far as an update every week. We may get an update every week, but like I said, it's going to be vague. Now, everyone wants to know what's going on with Paige. The Rock's making a movie about her. She wants to fight MMA. Is she coming back to the WWE? When is she coming back to the WWE? And as of right now, the thinking is that she can start training and getting ready to return in either April or May. Doctors have told her that she can't actually get into a ring until about April-ish. And then after that, she can start training again and then wait for the WWE doctors to clear her. Now, she is interested in doing some mixed martial arts. She, I guess, has been doing slight little here and there training with Alberto. If you don't know, before his wrestling days, Alberto Del Rio actually did fight mixed martial arts, and I don't know exactly what his record was. Let's Google this. Alberto Rodriguez. Alberto Rodriguez MMA record. If you didn't know, his real last name is Rodriguez, Alberto Rodriguez. But let's see what his MMA record is. He wrestled under a mask in Mexico, and he was 9-5, which is not bad. But he's doing slight MMA training himself just to keep himself in shape, and apparently Paige has been doing some stuff with him. Of course, she's got to keep it light because of the injury, but she's liking it, and she's liking it a lot. Now, Del Rio works for a company. He's kind of like the face of the company, Combates America. And they want to run a pay-per-view. Now, they do run shows on the UFC Fight Pass. But they want to run an actual live pay-per-view in the not in the WWE. What am I talking about? In the United States. And they don't have anybody, at least American, to the American audience, that would be a draw. Now, if you were to get Del Rio to fight, that could draw, because people know Del Rio from WWE. But he doesn't want to fight. Remember when Del Rio left WWE the first time? Not only was he getting offers from pro wrestling companies, which he took and stuff, but he was getting MMA deals as well, saying, hey, come fight for us. I don't know exactly what. I think Bellator may have been one, but I don't know about the other ones. I know there was a couple in Mexico, and he turned them all down, saying, I'm in my late 30s. I don't want to fight anymore. I haven't fought in forever. But he was asked again this week by TMZ, would you fight again? He said, no, there's no chance of me getting in the cage, but there is with this one, Paige. The feeling is that maybe if Paige would be ready by the end of 2017, they can run the first Combates America pay-per-view with her as the headliner. Now, I don't know who she can fight, because if she even can't start fully training till April, May, and they do the pay-per-view in October, November, that's June, July, August, September. That's like 5 to 6 months of training. You can't get ready for an actual fight in 5-6 months with no formal training prior. No. Now, they can come out here and find some girl that has no training at all that Paige can just go and beat. But then what would that accomplish? We would know either before the fight or right after the fight that this girl has no training and this was all set up. Now, I doubt they would like it if this girl with no training comes out and beats Paige, because then it will look even worse. But as of right now, Paige is highly considering doing MMA. Like, it's not just, oh, she's thinking about it because Del Rio said it. No. She's highly, like, when I say highly, like, she would like to get out of her WWE contract to do this. Now, the other thing about Paige is they're making a movie about her. The Rock saw the documentary called The Wrestlers Fighting with My Family, and he loved it. If you haven't seen this, I'll put a link in the description below. The actual documentary is on YouTube, and it's about Paige and her family, about how they are a very well known wrestling family in the United Kingdom, how their daughter and son were getting a tryout from the WWE, and what happens with that. It was Paige and her brother, Zach. They went to a tryout for WWE, and they signed Paige on the spot. Like, literally, they saw Paige and said, we want you. Then, her brother, he went for his tryout, same day, same tryout, and they were like, you need to gain some muscle. So they show in the documentary her brother for another 6 weeks or so. He's working out. He's bulking up. Their dad is on him to just get as much muscle as you can. And during this 6 weeks, Paige is getting ready to leave. And she does. She leaves and comes to America. And her brother gets another tryout. Her brother actually gets used on TV in a 3-on-1 handicap match. I think it was against Big Show on SmackDown. But they still told him, the body's not there. And there's a vibe about him that he may not really want this as much as other people. And so they passed on him again. So that's what the movie's going to be based on. About a brother and sister and their family. The sister makes it, the brother doesn't. And right now, Paige is going to be played by, I think her name is Florence Pugh. And they just announced, well, haven't announced, but Variety is reporting that Lena Headey from Game of Thrones will be playing Soraya Knight, Paige's mother, and United Kingdom British actor Nick Frost will actually be playing Ricky Knight, Paige's father. I don't know exactly what other major roles are going to be in this movie other than the Knight family. I don't know if Paige's older brother is going to be featured in the movie or not. I know before Paige and Zach had their tryout, it was like a year before, their brother, I can't remember his name, but he had a tryout with WWE and they liked him. They were all ready to give him a contract, and then they saw he had prior arrests. They saw he had a criminal record, and they passed on him. So Paige wouldn't have been the first one from her family to join WWE, except for her brother had a criminal background. So the movie is supposed to start filming this month in Los Angeles, and then they're going to film in London as well. The Rock will be in the movie. He says he's going to make a slight cameo about him as himself. So it's going to be interesting, very interesting really, to see how this movie all does come together. Nick the First is asking about our t-shirts. The link is actually in the description below. If you scroll down, it says... Let me find it. It says if you would like to get your PWU t-shirts now, tpublic.com/PW Unlimited is where you can go to get the t-shirts. And like I said, for the next 12 hours, if you use promo code COOLCAT25, you will get 25% off of your order. Alright. Now, JBL noted on Twitter that he has one more episode of Legends with JBL coming, and that's with Jimmy Hart. After that, the show's canceled. They're not going to do any new episodes, and there was no real reason why given. He just posted on Twitter that, hey, my show's Legends with JBL, they're ending it. We're not doing it anymore. Unfortunately, there's one more episode coming. So, there you go. That's it. Cole Crofter says Roy or Zach. Roy was the older brother. Roy is the older brother that WWE liked but passed on because of his criminal background. Zach is the brother closer to Paige's age. He might be an older brother as well. but he's the one closer to Paige's age, that they kept saying you don't have the right body and you just don't seem like, you're fully invested enough. Now everyone keeps asking me over the last couple of days, when's the draft? Are we, not really when, but are we getting a draft in 2017? And right now the tentative plan is to do the draft around the same time they did it last year, end of June, early July. So that's what we're hearing. I don't know exactly who can be switched brands. I know some people keep throwing Roman Reigns' name out there, but if Roman's gearheaded for, or spearheaded, sorry, for a match against Brock at SummerSlam, I don't see that happening unless they're trying to like switch the titles. So now we got some interesting news this week about WrestleMania. WrestleMania and the Cruiserweight Championship, to be specific. Right now, everyone keeps saying, Austin Aries. WWE don't like him or something. They just want to use him as an announcer, and that's not the case. Vince really likes Austin Aries to the point where when the Cruiserweight division was first started, he almost felt like Aries was too good for that division. But then when the Cruiserweight division wasn't really going anywhere, he felt like we need to shake this up. And that's why they added Neville, and now they're adding Aries. Austin Aries, last, I want to say November, injured his orbital bone. He pretty much broke it when he got kicked in the face by Nakamura. He's been out of action ever since, doing commentary and stuff, so they can keep him, you know. The reason he's on commentary is so people don't forget about him. Because he's going to be a focal point of the Cruiserweight division going forward. Right now, he has been cleared to return to the ring, but he's probably not going to wrestle until Mania. They're going to start building tension between both Neville and Austin Aries that will culminate in a singles match for the Cruiserweight Championship at WrestleMania. I feel like perfect. I know a lot of people want to see a multi-man match for the Cruiserweight title. I've pitched that idea. It could be a good match, but I think Aries versus Neville in a one-on-one match could steal the show. It could be better than anything else we have at WrestleMania. It would be better than Roman and Undertaker. Better than Triple H, Seth Rollins. Better than, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar for sure. But I think Aries versus Neville at WrestleMania, that match can blow the roof. Well, there's no roof on the, Camping World Arena now, the stadium, they call it. There's no roof on it, but if it had a roof, those two can blow the roof off. And I think the way that they do that is if they give them no limits. They say, you know what, your cruiserweights, put on a goddamn cruiserweight match. So, Nick the First has an interesting question. He says 205 Live should have their own live events / house shows. I have heard some things about that, but I don't know if it would actually draw. I don't know how many people would come to see the cruiserweight guys, and only the cruiserweight guys. Unless you're going to do it in one small localized area like they do for NXT down there in Florida. But I just don't see the 205 guys, especially if it's going to be regional, like nationwide, touring and stuff. I don't know. I don't really see that being a good plan. But, alright. So do you guys now, this is your opportunity to ask me anything you need to know about pro wrestling. What questions do you have for as far as WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan? What questions do you guys have as far as pro wrestling and what's going on here and there? Again, I do want to remind you guys, if you want to get a Pro Wrestling Unlimited t-shirt, today is the day. Today is the day. If you use promo code CoolCat25, then you can get 25% off your first, not just your first order, your full order. But promo code does expire in 12 hours. Let's see. Will H says TNA had a better roster 08 to 12. All the good TNA guys all deserve to be in WWE. I think TNA's roster was better, not to 12, no. Maybe 04 to 08, 04 to 06. Right there, 06 was a great year for TNA, that's for sure. Will H is also asking, any news on the Bullet Club? No. I know that they're supposed to be doing some stuff at the next, I want to say, ROH tapings. Kenny Omega actually may be there. But there's nothing really to say about the Bullet Club. And to be honest, I've talked to some people that said the interest of the Bullet Club, it's not where it was a year ago. It's not that people are interested in the Bullet Club itself. They're more interested in, I guess you could say, the Elite. It's Kenny Omega. It's the Young Bucks. And I guess you can wrap Adam Cole in there as well, as far as the Elite. But those are the guys that people are interested in. All the other guys in, I guess, the Bullet Club, Tamatonga Tangaloa, Bad Luck Fale, Hangman Page, they don't get as much interest from the fans as those other 3 or 4 guys do. So it's going to be interesting to see, first off, if Adam Cole is leaving. Okay, whatever. But we'll have to see. Cole Crofter, would you send a t-shirt to the UK? I think it does ship to the UK. You have to go on the TeePublic website and find that out. I don't deal with any of the shipping. It's all done through TeePublic. So just go to teepublic.com/PWUnlimited and check it out. Let me know. I'm pretty sure they do ship to the United Kingdom. Let's see. Chris Gomez, would you see Dixie Carter working with Vince McMahon behind the scenes? Not a chance. I don't see Dixie Carter working for any professional wrestling company ever again after the freaking horrible mess she turned TNA into. Not at all. Nick the First is asking, Finn Balor update. There's not really much to update. They hope that he's good to go for March. That's the date that they were given after the surgery. That's the date that the doctors confirmed this past January after he got evaluated. He did like a 6-month evaluation. Well, it's next August, September, October, November, December, January. It was about a 5-month evaluation. They told him, you're progressing exactly where you need to be. No slower than we thought. No faster than you thought. And he's still earmarked to come back in March. About 3, maybe 4 weeks before Mania. So we could see him right after Fastlane. Randy Jr. says Alexa Bliss will lose her title against Mickie James at Mania. Maybe. We don't know. We don't know exactly what the plan is for the Women's Championship on the SmackDown side for WrestleMania. Nick the First, wait. Will he be at WrestleMania then? That's the plan. They want to have Finn Balor at WrestleMania. Chris Gomez asks if there's any news on Jack Swagger, and no. To be honest, I think I saw Jack Swagger when they did Miz versus Ambrose in the Lumberjack match. I saw Jack Swagger there. But other than that, I haven't seen Jack Swagger in months. And think about this. We all thought they were going to do something big with Jack Swagger because of the story they started with him. He was a Raw drafted superstar. A couple weeks later, his quote-unquote Raw contract expired, which is interesting because how can your Raw contract expire only a few weeks after you sign? That was stupid the way they said it, but it was interesting because his contract expired, and then I guess he went to SmackDown. They said that he signed a new deal with SmackDown, and then he started to, I guess, feud with Baron Corbin. It went nowhere, and he died out. But I don't know. Jack Swagger's another guy like Kurt Hawkins that they just got there that they don't do anything with. There's a lot of guys that they got that they don't really do anything with. So Cole Crofter is asking about AJ Styles. Now for WrestleMania, all we know is they want to do Shane. There's no reason why. We don't know why. But they want to do Shane, AJ. That's all we know. There's nothing really there to say. There's no new update on the AJ Styles WrestleMania situation. Nick the First is asking, okay, what happened to R-Truth? I haven't seen him in a while. It's another. They got guys that they just have no ideas for, so they just push them to the side. But let's see. Randy Jr. says the Demon versus the Broken One at WrestleMania. Matt Hardy versus Finn Balor. Could be a good match. But I don't know if the Hardys want to sign with WWE. And that's the big question that's going to come up in the next couple of weeks. Do they re-sign with TNA? And do they, if they don't, where do they go? So, but I think that's going to do it for this edition here today of Pro Wrestling Unlimited Live. I want to say thank you guys for joining us here live. And again, if you want to get one of our t-shirts, go to tpublic.com/PWUnlimited. Use promo code CoolCat25 and you can get 25% off your order. Remember, we will be live again Sunday night following the Elimination Chamber. But again, thank you. If you haven't already, subscribe down below, and we'll see you again in the next video.